Hi guys, it's Ona Giblets and Dr. Vicky, your energy customer service reps from half of the country. We are here to talk about the Libra full moon that is coming up on Monday. It's at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. It is also part of a two-part of an eclipse series that we're hosting this year. Giblets won't stop. I'm going to keep him on my lap until I don't know. He just needs to sit here or he's indulged enough today. So we're just going to hang in there until we pull cards or something. Then he wants to jump off. So this full moon lunar eclipse, I always think the full moons are very, very powerful. Is like a powerful full moon because of the
Yes,
eclipse
yes, yes,
component.
yes, yes, yes.
And we were talking about, are we going to be able to actually visualize this moon if it's clear with an eclipse occurring? And I'm thinking, I don't think so, right? If it's being shadowed or if it's
No, I was under the impression we weren't going to see it at all, but then you said no, it's in the middle of the night, and I'm like, well,
yeah,
maybe we're going to see.
yeah, because of
So
that it's occurring.
I should know that, but for some reason, I don't seem to know.
If somebody does, let me know. I follow the Adler Planetarium's YouTube channel, and they usually let you know about stuff like that. They already have a thing with the solar eclipse coming up. I've also sort of designated it as the Patchouli moon because that is the response I'm getting with this Libra moon, who we know is ruled by Venus.
No.
So there's that quality of love,
Sensuality.
prosperity, right? Also rebellion and wanting to do something different,
Yeah.
which is what patchouli actually symbolizes. So that's interesting. That's what I've picked up on so far. And I am actually working that night, so I'll do something at work. I don't know. We'll see. I did have a little Libra thing that I started over there, so I'll maybe bring it over there and take a picture. We'll see what happens. But I want to look at the chart, and I didn't properly introduce Dr. Vicky Skirbo,
Hi,
who's
everyone.
joins me on my full moon videos, Moonshine. So, Dr. Vicky, thank you again on your busy schedule to carve out a little time for a little moonshine.
Oh, yeah, well, we could all use a little moonshine now, couldn't we? And of course, how could I miss the eclipse? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be an astrologer worth my salt if I.
Eclipses are so I think we're still learning so much about them because before we knew how to record or to mathematically record an eclipse event, it got dark in the middle of the day and that was an ominous sign. So I think it's always been connected to something ominous.
Yes. Yeah. And this full moon is a blood moon, so the moon, I believe, is going to be turning red. And of course, it turns red because it's the 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 light is moving through the atmosphere,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so it looks red, but it's a powerful
The
thing,
axis. It's
huh?
to the axis, right? The North Node.
Right. Well, the moon is the moon. This is the
South Node,
we're
sorry.
in a new moon. We're in a north node eclipse cycle. You tell what eclipse cycle you're in by where the sun is. And so the sun is in Aries, and so the Aries is the north node. But of course, the moon is on the south node, right?
Yeah.
In the full moon. And so even though it's a north node eclipse, there is this sense of um, the south node being involved and in the sense of letting go of something.
Yeah.
And it's it's Libra. So are you letting go of an agreement? Are you letting go of a relationship? Are you letting go of a way of relating. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave a relationship, but you're renegotiating the contract and what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept.
Yeah. I
And
think that that kind of nails this whole Libra full moon, truly is filtering,
oh,
which Libra rules the kidneys, and that's what they do. I always go to like, okay, what part of the body does it rule and how does it relate? And it is about filtering. It's an air sign.
did you want to see the chart?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Check out the chart and just use your right brain and see what happens.
All
It's
right.
the
Well,
creative moon. Just use it right. I want to see what I'm curious to see in the comments how people interpret things. Like look at it with just your right brain. There's an imbalance. There's an imbalance, right? There's a cluster over on the left side there by Aries and the 12th.
yeah, I'm gonna make this a slideshow just so we can see it better.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's okay, girl,
One
please.
of the things that I have been noticing is that technology is very um touchy right now. And of course I don't know enough about technology, or maybe I don't know enough about astrology to know why, but it seems very touchy. It's been very hard to connect with people that normally you should be able to connect with. It's strange like that. But
Well, Mercury is going to have a weirdness, and I wonder if we're approaching on that the cycle where, you know, technology is kind of touchy right now, and
well, Mercury is in its shadow. It's not retrograde yet. It goes
it's in its
retrograde.
and the first.
It goes retrograde on the
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, but Venus, of course, is the ruler of the South Node, right? And
Yep.
it's in Pisces and it's conjunct Saturn. And that's serious. And
Yeah.
Saturn is an archetype of the Grim Reaper.
It's a commitment.
And it's also, the end of the
Scary.
line. Saturn rules the end of the line. And so we may hear of maybe a famous pairing or a famous relationship, maybe somebody exiting from that relationship, because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
eclipses will often, you know, uh, the eclipses happen, and if you happen to be somebody that everybody knows, right? If you're a celebrity, a head of state or something like that, um, you would be the person, right? You would be the example of that everybody would see. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see. This South Node is on Prince William's Saturn, and also his wife
Yeah.
Saturn, Catherine Saturn. So I don't know. We'll have to see what that means, but and it's a powerful time. We have the vibration of the day, at least here, where we are,
Yeah.
is
It's a
it's a
10 of Wands day.
yeah, it's a 10
Look
of
at
Wands.
all that fire. Eris, Mercury, Chiron, the north node, the sun. Look at all those wands.
Yeah,
So input, a lot of input, and that needs to be filtered because obviously it's overwhelming. Look at that poor thing. He wore out the sole of his shoes on that card. Been dragging those wands around for a long time.
yeah, and when you get this card in a reading, the question you would ask somebody is, why are you carrying around so much stuff? You might not say stuff, but oh, I'll say stuff. Why are you burdening yourself with unnecessary things?
Right.
What do you need to let go of? What needs to be released? And this is, a full moon, which is usually a release time. And so we will see what needs to be released in this full moon. It's very interesting because, full moons are always, even though this is the start of an eclipse cycle, because it's the next lunation is the new moon eclipse. This is connected to the last new moon that we did on my Moon Shadows
Yeah.
episode, right? In Pisces, 21 degrees of Pisces. And so this is sort of this full moon is the harvest of that, whatever was planted at that time.
Yeah.
And the symbols are so very interesting with this. The full moon, the moon is at 6 degrees of Libra. It's 507, so you always go up
Yeah.
to the next degree. It said, a man watches his ideals taking concrete form before his inner vision. And that's in opposition to the sun in Aries, a square with one of its sides brightly illumined, crystallization of life purpose, the desire to establish oneself as a unique person.
These are all quick manifestation avenues, and it has very much been like that.
Yeah, we are instantaneously manifesting stuff.
Yeah.
And so we have to be aware of where our mind is at, because you could is easily instantly manifest some abundance in your life, or you could easily manifest a tractor
Right.
driving behind a tractor
Right. You
for
gotta
a
slow
couple of
down.
miles down the highway.
The stupid side streets. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. To realize you need to slow down, or,
Or yeah, or just there's a maybe when you get slowed down like that, there's a decision to be made that you haven't been willing to make, right? A breaking of a contract that you haven't been able to. We often like continue on and continue on and continue on, and sometimes we have to stop and say, okay, let's reevaluate and
yeah. Yeah.
reevaluate.
And I know that I get really aggravated driving. I totally get the road rage thing. Totally understand that. And I think that is what a lot of the kids today was, a bobcat on a trailer bed. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it is like, slow down. You're not going to get there any quicker.
Yeah.
And you might have just missed something.
Yeah, well, that's, when you live in the Northeast, oftentimes you have to get philosophical about traffic because you're always going to hit it, right? So at some point,
Some of
someday,
my best meals and my best insights have been in my car.
stuck in traffic, yeah. Um, I do want to point out that both the north node of the moon, which is in Aries, ruled by Mars, and the south node of the moon, which is in Libra, ruled by Venus, are both those planets are in Pisces,
Yeah. It's a heavily Pisces,
heavily,
and yeah.
which
Yeah.
makes me think that we could see some rain, some flooding,
It's snowing right now.
some snowing.
Big time. Yeah.
If we had precipitation today, these last 2 days, we would have had snow.
Yeah.
It was so cold. The wind chill yesterday morning was 17.
Yeah.
It was the first, maybe the first full day of spring here
Yeah.
in the
That's
Northeast.
exactly what we've had. That's exactly what we have to report. As soon as it went into spring, it went back into winter.
Yeah. Well, at least we didn't have a like the end of winter got warm here where I am, so it's just been cold.
Yeah, no, we had like 70-degree days, like
I think we had like 150-degree day and that was it. But hey, we don't know. Like, what's the weather going to be like? I don't know. Let's go outside and see.
that's our very lucky Pisces, kind of Piscean energy. And both the planets that are ruling the sun moon opposition, the full moon, are in Pisces. So a
That's
lot of
right.
that sort of theme stuff comes up. So watch overdoing it and write everything down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then of course Mercury, which is the planet of the clear head, is now in its shadow of its upcoming retrograde.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the other thing that is kind of hitting. So sorry. This is sometimes the time when we go OUT. So if you
Oh,
get snow, And buddy, you are so delicate that you just in the snow would not be, I'm not going out there right now.
Well,
I'm not going out there right now. He's just gonna have to chill with me right here.
we are talking about a Libra full moon, and you should have somebody there with you.
Yeah, it's always a dog, 2 or 4-legged.
Oh no, I haven't met the
Dog.
other dog yet.
I actually don't have a dog. I don't have a 2-legged dog at all. But
Not yet. We have a full moon in Libra. Who knows? Patchouli's in the air. I don't know. Oh no.
I don't know what that was all about. That really hit hard. And I think, and I look and I think, well, yeah, the moon's on my Mars, or it just happened quickly.
Well, the interesting thing about this full moon is eclipse, other than that fact that it's an eclipse and all the rest, is that before it happens, we have a sextile between Venus and Jupiter. And after it happens, we have a sextile between Venus and Uranus. And I just want to just show you those charts just to kind of give you a sense of how they look. So this is
Who's
Venus.
ruling this moon right now? So keep that in mind. Because what
Th-
Venus, the ruler of this moon, is doing right now.
That's right.
Look at
That's
her.
right. Yes. And of course, we're talking about Venus as the ruler of the moon, and it's in its exaltation in Pisces,
Yeah.
and it's sextiling Jupiter, which I mean, sextiling Taurus, which is what Venus rules. So when you say that the women are in charge right now,
Yeah.
women are in freaking charge right now.
Yeah.
In
Well,
fact,
look,
I just was, in passing, because I try not to watch too much, but Marjorie Taylor Greene just put the House guy who's in fact born on on an eclipse, Johnson, put him on notice that he's on notice that they might take his speakership away because
oh my
because
God.
he agreed with he got with the Democrats and him agreed um to not close down the government. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, he's not representing us because he's the Speaker of the House, he's supposed to be Republican.
Yeah.
But of course they don't do anything. So I mean, Mike Johnson didn't really have a choice. He was either gonna go with his thing and shut down the government or not. And a lot can be said about him. I don't really think I think there's a part of him, and this is a political thing, which maybe we shouldn't be talking about on our full moon uh, thing, but I get a sense from him that he would prefer to he would prefer to do the right thing.
Yeah.
He would prefer to do the right thing. I
Yeah.
think in a way, one of the reasons maybe he was selected was for the same reason that uh, Trump selected Pence. That sort of super duper Christian vibe of, and having integrity and all this weird, kind of weird um sexual stuff that they
Yeah.
have, like being so anti-gay, which is like, how
It
can you
doesn't make
be
any
anti somebody else's choice? I mean, what what
it
is that
doesn't make
about?
any sense that that is the narrative that's going on out there. Doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know why they have to be so extreme about what it's to me, it's like grasping for air.
Well, it is. It's the
You
last
know,
gasp. It's
it's
the
the
last
last
gasp
gasp.
of the
Yeah,
patriarchy. Yeah. They
yes,
don't want to give up. I mean, it's interesting that it's probably going to be E. Jean Carroll that bankrupts. E. Jean Carroll and Tish James
yeah,
bankrupt, and E. Jean Carroll's lawyer, I think her name is Sandy, maybe? No, I can't remember her name, but
Yeah.
she's a powerful
Yeah.
she's a powerful little lady. And
I think that's the
they're
karmic
bringing
story,
down
right?
the like misogynist of the
Yeah.
century.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't, I don't know if we've had somebody like him since Bluebeard or something like
This is
that, right? I mean,
karmic story. This is his karmic story.
yeah.
This is where he can possibly maybe get one more chance or a last chance to redeem anything is
This
by being
this
completely humbled.
this full moon sits on his Neptune. He has Neptune in his second
Good.
house. Smoke and mirrors. We're getting to see how much money he has. He has no money. He owns nothing. He never
Yes.
has. He never has. It's all been a big show, which I hate to tell people, but a lot of really, really rich people, I think, and I could be wrong about this, but it's just a show.
Yeah.
It's a show. And when the gig's up, people are going to say, wait a minute, where's mine, right? Where's mine? I mean,
Yeah.
Pluto's in Aquarius, so we're going to be, labor is going to be big, people are going to be big, what people want, the voice of the people. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of people out there who are angry and have a right to be angry
Yeah.
for the situation where perhaps their officials haven't been uh, working for their best interest, which is what they're supposed to do, right? But that's not the reality.
I have to
So
say that's something that I witness more fluidly right now is when people protest, they protest, they are in your face. You don't get away with anything. You think these politicians, they can't go barricade the entrance to the building. They are mad. And we don't always appreciate that what we're doing is making an impact. Little protests, little um, things getting together to try and change their perspective or do something about something is making a difference. It does impact somebody when they can't drive home into their house because there's protests. It does make an impact on them.
yeah.
And you do figure out what's going on. You want to change it. And this is
So
a
this is
great time to think about how we're going to change things that, um, you know, work for everybody.
yes. Now, this is the eclipse on the United States chart, the eclipse for oh crap. So sorry. This is the yeah, I guess we should see it. This is the eclipse for Washington, D.C. This is the eclipse for Washington.
Yeah.
So that it is there's a lot of energy, and this is going to be true also of the new moon. Um well, in this deck, oh God, what am I talking about? In this chart,
Mhm.
there could be some issues with transportation because the third house is short distance trips and the ninth house is long distance trips.
So interestingly, this is so funny because as soon as you said transportation, the DMV was down a couple of days ago. Was it Wednesday or Thursday? I can't
Wow.
remember because I work nights. And it was a national downtime. They use a national bandwidth for the Department of Motor Vehicles, and people couldn't renew their licenses. It was here, it was everywhere.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there's that disruption,
Yep.
Uranus, right? Just going, no, you don't have to drive anywhere today.
Yeah. So this,
That's a big deal.
and then after the eclipse, right, we have this. Hold on. There's a lot of stuff going on. Um, Hold on. Is this it? Oh, Jesus. Venus and Uranus are going to be making a sextile as well. Um,
He's in Pisces.
and Venus in Pisces,
Mhm.
and it's on the degree of the new moon. The new moon that we had was at 21 of Pisces. Now Venus is at 21 degrees of Pisces, and it's sextiling Uranus at 21 degrees of
So that's a neat date to
Taurus.
kind of plug in that window of time, March 25th, full moon, to when Venus has the sextile with Uranus on the 28th, like 3 days of intensely observe and
Yes,
filter.
yes.
And
And there can be because the sextiles is the energy between Venus and the other planet. It's
Mhm.
an opportunity for us to move in a progressive humanitarian direction.
Yeah,
We could do some really profound healing through this period and also the new moon.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it really is. And the new moon, solar eclipse that we're going to talk about when we do the next Moon Shadows episode, um, is conjunct Chiron
Okay.
and the United States Chiron. So, and we
It's,
have and then shortly thereafter, we have a Chiron return for the United States. And then shortly after that, Uranus and Jupiter conjoin at 20, I think 22, 22 or 23 of Taurus,
that's going to be
which is more Venus, right? It's more Venus energy. This is like really like women standing up and claiming their power. I that's what it feels like to me.
yeah.
And of course, you know, depending on, you know, the fact that the North Node is in Aries and Chiron is there, and I was just listening to a thing about Alina Hamba, the you know, the lawyer for Trump, and getting involved in a hush money case with somebody who signed a DNR, and oh, not a DNR, that's do not resuscitate.
Yeah.
Those other things they saw, whatever they're called.
Oh,
You can't talk about what
a
happened.
disclaimer.
Yeah, whatever that is, that Trump
Yeah.
makes everybody sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But like his whole cabinet are a bunch of misogynistic men who beat women
Yeah.
and abuse women. It's just like you can't get into his club unless you have some sort of like cred of abusing a woman. So
Mhm.
it's such a toxic sort of masculine energy that is, you know, at the same time we have this sort of powerful woman with Fonnie Willis and Letitia James and E. Jean Carroll's lawyer
Yeah.
and Stormy Daniels standing up to Trump. I mean, this is
I can't imagine what it's like for him to put his head down on a pillow at night and not realize that all of the damage that you did is coming back to
yeah.
you and recycle you,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That's crazy. We'll see. We'll see what happens. This is going to be a very, very interesting year. And keeping it together is what you help me do and what we can help people do out there watching and having a sip of moonshine if you have to. I mean, everything's in Pisces. I'm not going to judge, right?
I
You,
might have a
you
little
gotta
moonshine
do.
after this.
Yeah.
After this week, I think I need a little moonshine.
Yes. And all the equinox energy and everything. It's been very, very intense. I have we did pull rocks or crystals for what you can use to streamline an altar that is, directed at this moon. I got a tiger eye. It's a green one I had that caught my attention a few days ago, maybe a couple of days ago, and I like the energy, but I think it's more of an equinox thing or a moon
Yes,
Virgo where
yes.
she is right now. Um, has been, I almost have to put it down because I feel like it gives me energy, this particular one. So it's a little staticky too. rose quartz, Dr. Vicky offered up for having that tranquility and peace that Libra and Venus are, you know, noted for.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, soft, healing heartstone. And I think that there's going to be some broken hearts
Yeah,
and having to let go of certain things in this process of this eclipse. And so I think that will be and maybe not, maybe like even just self-healing. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to lose somebody,
yeah,
but you do need to one of the downfalls of Libra is that they sometimes forget themselves so in within the relationship.
mhm,
And this could be a releasing of that. The nodes of the moon are emotional. They're not, it's not the when we have eclipses happen, they happen at the nodes of the moon. They don't happen at the nodes of Mercury. And so it's always an emotional experience, whether it's a new moon or it's a full moon. But the full moon, because the moon symbolizes our feelings and our emotions. And when it's full, we're full of emotion,
yeah,
and it's going to be around relationship. So you might even have a remembrance of a relationship that you no longer have,
mhm,
somebody that you loved once who maybe is in spirit now, or
yeah,
maybe your relationship to a mother that you lost, whatever, those relationships that have gone by, and a remembrance of that.
yeah.
What I would
Part
suggest,
of mode stuff too is to have past life memories, have
yes,
past relationships
yes.
resurface, recycle in your brain there. It's at this time. You reflect on that.
Yeah, and the fact that the fact that both nodes are being ruled by Pisces can indicate that energy of letting go and letting God and forgiveness. And we were talking about, like, how do we navigate? Everybody comes in with so much trauma. How do
Yeah,
we navigate that? And I'm like, maybe we just need to forget the past, let it go. What do we truly need? There's one thing to learn from the past, but then there's the other part of hanging on. And
yeah.
if you're hanging on to something that doesn't serve you anymore, this is the time to let it go.
I think that's true. I think people don't know how to let go. They need to learn how to let go. I know there's people that probably want some to hang on some past things, but most of us want to relieve ourselves from our trauma that has inflicted emotional trauma on others or on ourselves for our whole lives. We don't want to keep it, but we just don't know how. If you would say, let it go, you got to let it go. I tell my kid that all the time, let it go. What does that mean? How do I let it go? How do I need to sit? How do I need to hold my hands? Who do
Yeah.
I need to listen to? How do I need to sing? What notes? What colors do I need to draw with today? How
I
is that letting go thing? How does that happen?
I think letting go happens when the balance is struck. And so what I would say is, if there's a situation, just an injustice of some sort that you feel was perpetrated upon you, if you hold on to the wound of that injustice, it goes deeper. And so what was the value of that lesson? I think we have to, bad things happen all the time, but if we can learn the value of whatever that was, I
Yeah,
think that can, because once things are balanced, it's no longer there. I went many years ago, went through a thing called the breakthrough process. It's something that Johnny Martini teaches, and he was one of the people who was in the oh, what was that, the Secret. He was in The Secret.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he was one of my first teachers, and in the sort of the more metaphysical realm of things. And what he does is he takes a perceived negative, and you write all the perceived negatives, and then you have to write next to it what you gained from the experience of that. And when you realize that what you lost and what you gain is equal, it's no longer an issue. It's like it takes the button away. So
Yeah,
if somebody's pushing your button, they can only push your button because it's there.
Right.
And, ultimately we're taking responsibility for ourselves and our responses to life. And how do you find that? You have to come to a place of, and some things are harder than others. So I'm not saying it's easy,
Yeah.
but I'm saying that is a method, I think, of doing it.
Yeah. And art, I think this is a good time to uh dance in your like nobody's watching when nobody's watching kind of moon also, because that creative energy, getting your body to move, it's singing even though you can't or whatever is a good way to help purge some parts of you where the energy is just picking it up. It's pulling it away, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
is, and that's a creative process, and use more of your right brain.
Yes. Yes. And music is a great tool for this.
And Libra's an air sign.
That's right.
So yes, those vibrations are definitely going to hit notes for sure. So awesome. All right, you guys, I am going to post as much as I can for this full moon from the from work and see what I can get, if I can get any pictures or shots. But I know during the solar eclipse for sure, I have access to, even if I'd like the roof and a bowl of water, if we have sun, if there's no clouds, I'll be able to get this on a bit for
Right.
sure.
Right. I did just select a few cards. We had talked about doing that. Is
Yes.
that all right?
What deck do you have? Do you have the sisters deck?
I have the spirit animal oracle.
The animal deck.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I picked Crow,
Oh,
which is co-create with spirit. I actually picked 3 cards. I usually don't, but I did. Crow. And then Owl. You can see clearly. Of course, this is connected to Athena, right? Pallas Athena.
yep.
And Coyote. Trust in divine detours. I think this is a message for you being behind that tractor.
Yeah,
And we just said that. We said, sometimes, especially with all this energy around the transportation system,
yeah,
don't stress out. Just
right. And that is just such a perfect way of say of the quick manifestation thing. I'm angry in traffic, so it actually gets worse,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
If I can visualize, hey, maybe a better route or a different route, or look at the map and see if the street goes all the way, and not be in a place where if I'm angry at traffic is going to really piss me off because I'm allowing it to. I'm manifesting it,
In a way.
right?
Well, certainly manifesting the anger, right?
Yeah.
Right. Trusting in those divine detours. Sometimes it's not about getting there on time. Sometimes it's just about getting there.
Yeah, exactly. I just have to quick. And you're always going to get there because you're exactly where you're supposed to be,
Right.
right?
Yes.
I have an antique anatomy deck. I had grabbed the goddess oracle deck, but I think that's the one I usually use at like fairs and stuff like that. There's enough fae and goddesses and equinoxes and eclipse gods right now. Maybe not to focus on that, but what Libra's energy. I'm going to do 3 cards from Antique Anatomy on Libra's energy. Bring in that patchouli moon. I swear there's patchouli on this deck. Maybe I had it on my hands or something. This one's about to fly out. Huh. A lot of fire, and a lot of water. Two of Cups. Oh, Libra has two.
Love is in the air.
Yeah.
Every sight and every sound.
Libra's Venus ruled thing, and also Libra's kidney ruled thing. 2 cups, 2 cups of kidneys. So filtering, and in this deck, it is about ingesting. It's not too much. It's like love tonic. It's right. That's what they're ingesting, and like love pharmaceuticals. So that's interesting. I like that. And then the 10 of Wands. So the card of the day.
Yep.
For the energy of the day is the 10 of Wands. And that yellow is a representative of joy. So find the joy behind the wands. And then the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands.
That's a really nice card.
Stabilization. I like the orange and red and green combination of what Aries and Mars does for this full moon, which is illuminating it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. We'll see you guys soon. During happy eclipse and happy full moon. Dr. Vicky, thank you so much. I know you're super busy, and it really helps to put this all in perspective, and I could see people nodding their heads like, yep, that makes sense. If you feel like you're being more sensitive to your psychic environment, you are.
You are.
You
It's
definitely
okay.
are.
Give yourself the grace. Give yourself the grace, because it can on some level slow you down because you need to process.
Yeah.
So allow the processing to allow the process. May processing be had by all, I guess.
Yeah, totally honor it. And when stuff is in your way, you're just throw up your hands and say, okay, what am I learning from this?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And you'll get the answer. That's how things are happening. Thank you. Love you. Giblets has finally calmed down. So I know you guys love
The balance has been struck.
He'll be back. Yeah, he's digesting all his extra snacks for the day. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.